So I'm pretty sure all of us had some sort of motivation or drive to do something. This could be whether to raise your grades, lose weight, or just to better yourself. Lardner stated that I've known what it is to be hungry, but I always went right to a restaurant. And I have 3 points to make. I want to explain this quote and 2 times where I felt hungry. I think this quote means that when he has some type of ambition, you appease it. You do something to complete that ambition, to fulfill it, to complete your goals. And this guy, Lardner, he was hungry. He did something to appease his hunger. Now, one time where I was hungry was to do something. It was my junior year of high school going to my senior year. And that was because when I was in wrestling, I would lose a lot my junior year. I would get my butt kicked. I would lose just about every single match. And I hated it. I always see my friends on the podium and I wouldn't even get a medal because I would lose a lot. So what I did was I went to a restaurant. I started putting in the extra work. I did things on my own time. I worked out more. And come senior year, my hunger was fulfilled. I started winning a lot. I stopped losing. I started winning a lot more tournaments and placing second within my league. Now, the third time I was hungry was, I think, a couple days ago. I was during my break at work, and I had this really bad urge, and apparently I was hungry. So what I did was I went to my car, I went to McDonald's, and I bought a burger. Then I went to a restaurant. So if you're ever feeling hungry, do something about it. Go to a restaurant. Fulfill that hunger. Any ambition you have.
Oh, Ernesto, I thought that you had a great idea for the interpretation of the quote that you had on that first point. That when you realize you have something that you need, it's like an ambition that you go out and follow up on it. I like that interpretation. I thought that was pretty good. And then you've got that example that you're talking about that you're using. I think we've heard a wrestling story before, once or twice, but it's a good illustration for this particular point, and I thought that worked really well. So I'm going, okay, this is going really well. You've got a good idea. And then you bailed out on that whole concept and you went literally with the second point. It was like, and then the other day I was hungry at lunch and I got a hamburger. And I went, yeah, that's not nearly as interesting as what you were talking about before. It feels like you've just kind of fallen down and said, let me say the most obvious thing that applies to the topic that I can, just to stretch it out a little bit. You'd have been better off stopping with the wrestling story instead of and just skipping that whole second point, because then it looks like, I had a good idea, I knew what my idea was, I said it, and that's as much as I needed to do. When you get to the other point, it looks like now I'm struggling to find something else to talk about instead of knowing what I'm talking about and feeling confident there. So I think that was kind of a downfall when the content was there. You had a good idea, you just needed some other ways to apply it. I'm sure that you've had other ambitions, or that you can think of other people, places, or things that have had those kinds of ambitions, and you could use, I've said it before to other people, I'm going to say it to you, you're going to have a better speech in the car on the way home, because you're going to think of 2 or 3 things. Oh, I could have said that, I could have said that, I could have said that, and that's what you need to do, is you need to kind of force yourself to find some ways to get to those ideas there. The presentation things, it's pretty fluid. You generally look at us. I don't think that you have any major problems that you have to worry about. Everything is generally satisfying. It's a little short in its presentation. You know, I do think at the end of the speech, you kind of rush, and I don't think that, like, your voice gave any indication that you were done talking. The thing that indicated that you were done talking was that you stopped talking. There wasn't really any setup of that, and that's something that you can do a little bit more with your voice as well. All right, thank you. Leslie, would you come get the topic and send Joshua in, please?